all the physical and social sciences have their historical background. For example, paleogeomorphology, paleoclimatology, paleochannel, paleodendrochronology, paleobotany. Likewise, our oceans have their history, that is called paleoceanography. And the study of paleoceanography has two aspects. Number one, the origin and evolution of the oceans, and second, in past or paleoceanography, we study the physical and chemical properties of oceans and their currents, sedimentation, their geometry, and changing shape and size. These are studied. So, we will consider these two aspects of paleoceanography. First aspect will be the origin and evolution. Before that, let us understand the importance of oceans. Credit for regulated temperature goes to especially ocean and water bodies. And the second point is the hydrological is being controlled by the oceans. It is hydrological cycle that provides rainwater to the lithosphere, which strengthens a strong ground for the growth of biosphere. Next very important point, that we are living on the lithosphere. Our population, human population, is growing rapidly, and with that respect, the land resources are falling short. That's why the humanity is bound to look at the oceans for their valuable biotic and abiotic resources. But at the same time, simultaneously, the oceans are also looking towards the land, because due to global warming, sea level is rising, and resultantly the oceans are encroaching the land area, especially islands and the low-lying coastal areas are being submerged. So these are the importance of oceans, and these points are written here, that 71% area of the earth is under water, and oceans regulate the earth temperature. Next is controlled hydrological cycle and provide water to lithosphere, hence rich biosphere on land. Next provides aquatic resources, and here biotic and abiotic both resources are found and being utilized by man. And oceans are encroaching land. It is not only that people are encroaching ocean by poldering, rather oceans are also encroaching land area. And if the process of global warming continues, certainly days are not far away when most part of the land will be under water. Now, after understanding importance, let us study the theories related to the origin of continent and ocean basin. You might have studied geomorphology, and the first chapter of geomorphology is related with the theories pertaining to origin of continents and ocean basins. There are two groups of theories, one contractional and second continental drift. So let us have a short glimpse of those theories, and it is a subject matter of paleoceanography. The first hypothesis is gaseous hypothesis by Lord Kelvin. Lord Kelvin postulated that in the beginning Earth was in hot gaseous state called nebula. Due to cooling, it shrank down, and some parts were raised up and some depressed. Atmosphere came into existence due to gravitation of the earth. When rainfall occurred, the water accumulated in low-lying areas which were called oceans, and the raised part which did not have water body were called continent. So this was simply a theory of contraction. Now the second theory, tetrahedral hypothesis, proposed by Lothian Green, also belonged to the contractional concept. Lothian Green postulated that Earth was in beginning in hot gaseous state. Its outer surface slowly cooled down, and due to cooling, some part was raised and some depressed. The same process by Lord Kelvin was also followed and postulated by the Lothian Green's tetrahedral hypothesis, and he supposed that the low-lying areas were oceans and raised parts continent. Now come to continental drift theory. After these two theories of contractional concept, this was the first drift theory postulated by F.B. Taylor. He postulated that in Cretaceous period, outer part of the crust was cooled and solidified, and it could not keep the rotational balance with the mass of the earth. Rather, it was thrown apart and moon came out of the earth, and the low-lying area was filled with water body which was called Pacific Ocean. Due to coming out of the moon from the earth, two forces started working on the earth. One, force of buoyancy, means drifting of land from poles to equator, and second, tidal force caused by moon and moving the continents west. Thus, credit for continental drift theory goes to F.B. Taylor, and with the help of this theory, he opened North-South Atlantic Ocean, Indian Ocean, wherein the water of Pacific Ocean was filled. Thus, all the oceans and continents came into existence. Now, the modification in the continental drift theory by Alfred Wegener. Alfred Wegener was a renowned climatologist. To explain the change of climate and their evidences on the earth, especially all the continents, he proposed this theory, wherein he, like F.B. Taylor, proposed that there was a supercontinent Pangaea surrounded by Panthalassa. Pangaea was broken in two parts, North Angara land and South Gondwana land. In between the two, a rift widened, which was filled with the water of Pacific Ocean, and it was named Tethys. The forces which broke Pangaea in two parts did not sleep. Rather, they broke the North Angara land in two parts, the western part North America and the eastern part Eurasia. Likewise, the endogenic forces broke Gondwana land in four parts, South America, Africa, India, Australia, as remnant was left at South Pole named Antarctica. Thus, Alfred Wegener explained the origin of continent and ocean basin by modification in continental drift theory, and later on convectional current theory was propounded by Holmes, and Holmes supposed that the outer layer of the earth called Seal made up of lighter material, while the lower called Sima, but he termed lower as substratum, which is made up of semi-liquid material today called asthenosphere. He again proposed that Seal was floating over Sima, and Seal was broken into different parts, hence ocean basins spread, and the braking force was proposed by him, convectional current rising from seam or substratum, and these broke the overlying crust. When crust was broken in the fissure, the water of Panthalassa was filled, but the magma from substratum came out of it, making mid-oceanic ridges, and new oceans opened. Like these two means F.B. Taylor and Wegener, Holmes also propounded that first existed Pacific Ocean, later on North Atlantic, South Atlantic, and then Indian Ocean. Now, next theory, geosyncline origin theory by Kober. Kober was a geologist, and he proposed that the Earth in the beginning was gaseous state. It slowly cooled down, and due to cooling, its outer part or crust shrank. Due to shrinking, some part was raised, some depressed. The depressed part was termed by him as geosyncline, which was filled with the water coming from the both side highland called foreland, and geosyncline underwent sedimentation. Due to sedimentation, the geosyncline were depressed. Due to depression force, both the forelands moved towards geosyncline and exerted pressure, due to which the sediment deposited in geosyncline were raised as folded mountains. Thus, this hypothesis by Kober is contractional, means of first and second family, and this third, fourth, and fifth, and sixth. These are the continental drift theory. And the very important and latest theory, plate tectonic, is today significant on scientific backgrounds. It has been propounded by Morgan in 1968. According to it, the crust has been divided in a number of plates. Plates may be continental or oceanic, but plates are moving due to hot spot and endogenic forces and convectional current. Due to movement of plates, their rift developed and water is filled in those, hence the oceans are opened. Thus, plate tectonic theory throws sufficient light on the origin and evolution of the continents and ocean basin. According to it, plate tectonic first existed Pacific Ocean. Then, when Pangaea was broken in two parts, Tethys opened, and when the northern part, Angara land, was broken in two parts 180 million years ago, the North Atlantic Ocean opened, and 120 million years ago, the Gondwana land was fractured. Hence, South Atlantic Ocean opened between South America and Africa, and about 80 million years back, the Indo-Australian plate was fractured and separated from Africa continent. Hence, Indian Ocean started opening, and later on, the Arabian Sea opened, in mid of which there is Carlsberg Ridge, and then Bay of Bengal opened, in which there is 90 East Ridge, and today the Bay of Bengal is widening. Say the area of Indian Ocean is widening because Australian plate is getting separated and moving in north, is getting separated from Indian plate and moving northeastward. So this is the history of the past oceans, which is the first phase or first aspect of Paleoceanography. Now, in short, you will give detail of these in the origin and evolution of oceans or say Paleoceans. Now let us take up the second part of Paleoceanography. The second aspect of the study of Paleoceanography is to study the geometry, means shape and size of oceans, their salinity, temperature, sediments, aquatic life, etc. So, let us have a glimpse of the second aspect of Paleoceanography, wherein we will have a special focus on the study of opening of oceans, their geometry. Geometry means changing shape and size, and change in sea level, wherein we will study the glacial and deglacial periods, especially Carboniferous and Pleistocene glaciations. And in this aspect, the physical and chemical properties of ocean waters will be studied. Next, biotic or biological character of ocean has been changing from the very beginning of Paleoceanography. This will be also the subject matter of Paleoceanography here. So, these are the main aspects which will be studied in Paleoceanography. Now, let us have a glimpse of criteria of study. The first criteria to study Paleoceanography is sea surface temperature, SST, and since the origin of the ocean or water body on the earth, the climatic conditions are continuously varying due to a number of extraterrestrial and terrestrial factors. So, this is very important criteria which help us study nature and characteristic of Paleocean. Second point is oxygen isotopes. If we study oxygen 16 and 18 isotopes in the polar region ice, means in the ice layers of Greenland. So, if we have a cross-sectional study, we will find that with the changing layer, the oxygen isotopes 16 and 18 are changing, and oxygen 16 and 18 isotopes are the result of different climatic conditions in low latitude, where water of ocean is being evaporated, and through 3 meridional circulation or hydrological cycle, this evaporated water reaches in high latitude, high altitude, and it freezes, and it is fixed in the form of oxygen 16 and 18 isotope. Means this water gets rid of hydrological cycle and reaches in solvation. So, the next point is bottom water temperature. Today, we see that with increasing depth in water body, temperature decreases, and bottom temperature is somewhere -2 degrees Celsius, somewhere -4 degrees Celsius. And this bottom water temperature has been changing in past. Hence, this helps us study paleoclimatology. Next point is salinity. The same case is with salinity, because with increasing depth, salinity increases, and salinity amount varies from time to time depending on the temperature and rainfall conditions. Thus, the study of Paleoceanography based on salinity also exposes the secrecy of paleoclimatology and paleobotany. Next is water circulation. Water circulation means when water is evaporated from low latitude and reaches high latitude, it freezes there, then after melting, it again comes to low latitude areas, and this is also simply termed hydrological cycle, which will be seen in our next topic. In water circulation, there are some chemical studies which help us to know the past chemical condition of the oceans. Number one is carbon isotope ratio, means the amount of carbon in water which is evaporated and solidified. Second is cadmium calcium ratio, and third is protactinium thorium isotope. Fourth is radiocarbon activity, means carbon 14 dating. Next is neodymium isotopes and sortable silt. Sortable silt may be salt also. It is deposited in ocean beds, especially along the coasts, and this is brought from land by rainwater and river. So, if we study the layers, so size of sediment may be silt or salt. Explain very well about the past climatic condition and erodible capacity of rainwater or river water, and especially salt are today found along the Cancer and Capricorn to the west of the continents, for example in India, Gujarat, and the chemical compound of that salt study very well helps us to know about the past oceanic condition. And next is neodymium isotope and and next is pH value. pH value means the study of acidity and alkalinity. If pH value is nearly 7, it is neutral. As the value decreases towards 1, it is called acidic, while if pH value will increase towards 14, the alkalinity will increase. pH value also helps us to know the past conditions of water, because the normal pH value of water is nearly 7. If this value decreases, the nature or chemical nature tends towards acidity, lemon, while if the pH value increases towards 14, it is termed alkalinity or salinity. So, pH value has been varying from time to time with changing past or paleoclimatic condition. On the basis of that pH value, we study paleoclimate scientifically. Now, the next point is future of our oceans. After going through the Paleoceanography, means past condition of ocean, which is expressed in this 3-stage model, then we will study the future condition of oceans. In the first stage, this was Pangea surrounded by Panthalassa, and at the end of Carboniferous, it was broken in two parts, the northern Angara land, southern Gondwana land. In between the two, rift formed, which was filled with the water of this Panthalassa. This surrounding water is Panthalassa and this is Pangea. And the water of Panthalassa filled this gap called Tethys Ocean. The forces, means endogenic forces, which broke this Pangea in two parts, did not sleep. Rather, they first broke the northern part, means Angara land, in two parts. Number one, North America started moving west according to plate tectonic evidences, and the second part, Eurasia, which started moving east. Between the rift opened, the water of this surrounding Panthalassa was filled, and this was called North Atlantic Ocean, which opened about 180 million years back. Then the same endogenic forces broke this Gondwana land, this part, in 1, 2, 3, 4 part, and the remnant left part was at South Pole, means grandfather. So this part was broken in 4, means South America was separated from Africa and South America started moving westward. Then here in between a rift was formed, and in this rift, in this gap, water of again Panthalsa was filled. Then thus 120 million years back this South Atlantic Ocean opened, and the same process forced India and Australia to get separated from Africa and moving north and northeastward. With the result, about 80 million years ago, this Indian Ocean opened, and later on, when India was separated from Africa, here a new rift formed, and here Arabian Sea, named after Arabian countries, opened, and in the mid of Arabian Sea there exists Karlberg Ridge, which is tectonically active, and Arabian Sea is opening and widening. The same process is taking place here, Bay of Bengal, because present day Australian plate is getting separated from Indian plate, and in between Bay of Bengal is widening along 90 East Ridge, and our grandfather is sitting in situ at South Pole, while the two suns of Antarctica, means first sun Angara land, second sun Gondwana land. Angara land has again two suns, while Gondwana land has 1, 2, 3, 4 suns. So this is history, or this is paleoceanography, or history of opening of continents or water bodies. Now, what about this Panthalsa? Panthalsa is shrinking, and it is law of nature that one day, if you have vastest area, the days are near when you will have minimum area. One day, if you are in a very deep depression, certainly the day will come when you will attain a very high peak, and you will bear a icy crown and will be worshipped in the form of mountain. So these natural incidents tell us a story to have the concept of equilibrium or concept of equity. When you gain something, don't be too happy. When you lose something, don't be too sorrow. Rather, have a sense of equity. So these are the two phases of paleoceanography. Now, after understanding the history of oceans, let us study the oceans at present, which we will study in oceanography. But at present, let us have a glimpse of the oceans which will be in future. So, future of oceans. There are possibilities of opening of two new oceans. One in Africa continent, because in Africa, from Lake Tanganyika to here Cairo, along the river Nile, there is a rift that is the deepest and widest and most active tectonically rift here in world, and here volcano and earthquakes are evidence that the here rift is widening, and in geological future the rift will be widened, and the water of Indian Ocean will fill it up, and it will be named as a new ocean. But before birth, the before birth child is not named. And here in this eastern part of Africa, there are several plates. One plate is East African plate, Somalian plate, Nubian plate, Arabian plate. Somalian rift is moving northward along Red Sea, Dead Sea, Jordan Sea, Sea of Galilee, and it is extending up to Turkey. So it has been fractured and it shows that a new ocean will open here. The second possibility of opening of new ocean is from Delhi, Haridwar, Harsil, reach to Sea of Okhotsk. Here in India, you are seeing that here is Delhi, Haridwar and Harsil, and there is a line showing tectonic ridge which starts from Gujarat, Bhuj, and this continues up to Sea of Okhotsk, situated to the north of Japan. And here along this, if you will see map, here there are a number of ranges like Tian Shan, Kunlun, Altai Tag, Yablonai, Stenovai and Khingan. So this you will consult on the map, draw a line from Gujarat to Sea of Okhotsk, and certainly it is tectonically sensitive where earthquakes occur frequently, and it shows, according to geologists from Wadia Institute of Himalayan Geology, India, that a rift will be formed here, and this rift will be filled with the waters from Pacific Ocean and waters from Arabian Sea, and thus this will be new ocean. Hence, there is possibility of opening of two new oceans in coming future. So, this is about the paleoceanography, where we have studied two aspects. Number one, theories regarding the past oceans, and second, what are the scientific evidences which help us to know about the past of the ocean, and also very important point that tectonically which are the two oceans to be opened in the coming future.